Today's topic that is a soil erosion. I am Dr. D. Sawant from Department of Geography, J.A.T Art Science and Commerce College for Women, Malegaon District, Nashik. So the topic which I had selected that is soil erosion. What is soil erosion? The denudation of the soil cover and subsequent washing down is described as soil erosion. Various aspects of soil systems are there. For example, components, soil texture is there, soil structure is there, soil profile is there, and horizon, formation of soils, and classification of soils, which is to be discussed. So, the impact of man activities on pedogenic processes, which is to be discussed. As erosion is a comprehensive natural process of detachment and removal of loosened rock materials and soils by exogenetic processes such as running water, groundwater, sea waves, wind, glacier, etc. Erosion caused by natural processes without being interfered by human activities is also called as geological erosion. It may be pointed out that slow removal of soil is a part of the natural geological process of denudation and is both inevitable and universal. This has been stated by Ian Stoller and H. Stoller in 1976. Accelerated erosion refers to the increased rate of erosion caused by various land use changes effected by man. Thus, soil erosion normally means accelerated erosion, which is called as man-induced erosion. Because of greater impact of human activities than natural factor on soil erosion, thus soil erosion is an extreme form of soil degradation in which natural geomorphological processes are accelerated so that soil is removed at rates 10 and sometimes several thousand times faster than is the case under the condition of natural vegetation and much faster than rates at which new soil forms. In fact, if you see that the damage and degradation caused due to the soil, due to compaction, smearing, excessive working, pulverization, etc., through human activities is called soil degradation, which is responsible for the removal of fertile upper soil horizons at the rate faster than they can be formed, decline in the organic content of the soil, and several types of changes in the physical and chemical properties of the soils. Accelerated soil erosion or man induced soil erosion is mostly operative in the humid climatic regions where extensive forest clearance means the tropical and subtropical forest biomes, yeah, grassland removal as a steppe and prairie, and extensive overgrazing and trampling by livestock have been practiced by man at an alarming rate. So, at the process, if you'll see that it has been recently become the most important factor of accelerated soil erosion because his multifaceted activities changes and modify almost all of the natural factors which control soil loss and soil erosion. The human activities leading to accelerated rate of soil erosion may be grouped under three categories. Number one, that is land use changes include removal of forest and grassland cover for various purposes. For example, for increase in agricultural land for meeting out ever increasing demand of space for industrial expansion and urbanization, for the expansion of mining, for constructional purposes such as roads, rails, dams, and reservoirs, etc. Second, that is a farm practice changes such as greater use of farm machines leading to greater impact of delayed traffic on the land. For example, use of tractors, harvesters, combines, etc. Frequent changes in nature of farming, such as shift from field crops to orchard farming, or change from field crops to orchard farming, or change from field crops to cattle ranching, etc. Third one, that is a management measures, which includes both crop management and land management. Ever increasing applications of farm machines and chemical fertilizers has largely modified the physical and chemical characteristics of soils. So, if you'll see that man induces and accelerates soil erosion by modifying the natural factors of soil erosion through his activities in a variety of ways. Here, if we'll see the rills and gullies, the erosion which is shown in this diagram. So there are types of soil erosions. Number one is a gullies. The running water cuts through the clay soils and makes deep channels as gullies. Second one, that is a badlands. The land become unfit for cultivation, which are known as a badlands. For example, ravines. In the Chambal basin, such lands are called ravines. If we'll see the types of soil erosion, number third, that is a sheet erosion, and number fourth one, that is a wind erosion. By such activities, the erosions which are being occurring, so sometimes water flow as a sheet over large areas in a downslope. In such cases, the topsoil is washed away. This is known as sheet erosion. Next one, that is wind erosion. Wind blows loose soil of flat or sloping land, known as wind erosion. Methods of soil conservation. If we'll see that number one is a contour plowing, and number two, that is a terrace farming. While discussing to this, that since man-induced soil erosion has resulted into the loss of fertile soils and thus degradation of agricultural lands, reel and gully erosion, augmented by extensive use of natural resources, has rendered millions of hectares of land into waste lands. Sincere efforts are immediately required to halt accelerated rate of soil erosion caused by reel and gully erosion and to protect the cultivated farms from slow poisoning through rain splash and sheet erosion. Any viable soil conservation measures includes some basic objectives. For example, 1. Protection of surface from raindrop impact. Second, that is increase in the infiltration of rainwater. Number third, that is a decrease in the volume and velocity of overland flow. Number fourth, that is reduction in the erodibility of soils or increase in the resistance of soil against erosion by modifying physical and chemical properties of soil. So, since the mechanism and forms of soil erosion are divided into two major categories. For example, number one, that is a slow rate of soil erosion, mainly through rain splash, rain wash, and sheet wash, which are operative to greater extent in the cultivated areas, cut over land, and abundant agricultural land. And second one, that is accelerated rate of soil erosion through reel and gully erosion, which is operative over the hill slope cleared of vegetation cover, slopy grounds, and riparian zones of the rivers. Separate soil conservation measures and techniques are required to check soil erosion of the aforesaid in two categories. So, to measure the crop management, what precautions should be taken? That to check soil erosion are basically applied to those cultivated areas which are under crops and are moderately affected by soil erosion. So, the proper management of growing of crops may decrease both the amount of surface area exposed and total duration of exposure of surface area to rainfall. So, crop management may also reduce runoff and overland flow by increasing infiltration rate of rainwater. So, increase in infiltration capacity and consequent reduction in runoff generation will automatically reduce soil erosion to great extent, and hence the following measures of crop management may be adopted to reduce and retard soil loss through rain splash, rain wash, and sheet wash. So, here we have discussed the methods of soil conservation. So, here in this strip farming which is shown, and second one, that is a shelter belts. So, many of the large fields which can be divided into strips. Strips of grass are left to grow between the crops, and this breaks up the force of the wind. Shelter belts are those that planting lines of trees to create shelter also works in a similar way. Rows of such trees are called shelter belts, and hence these shelter belts have contributed significantly to the stabilization of sand dunes and in stabilizing the desert in western India. Thank you very much.